Now we are having the third part of question number 2, that is differentiate between monohybrid and dihybrid. So we know that what is monohybrid cross and dihybrid cross. Monohybrid is actually a cross between two pure organisms in order to study single pair of alleles, in order to study the inheritance of single pair of alleles for a trait. Alright, so this is about the monohybrid cross. If we talk about the dihybrid cross, then it is also a cross between two organisms in order to study the inheritance of two different alleles, two different pair of alleles belonging to the different characters, So this is about dihybrid cross. In case of monohybrid, it produces a phenotypic ratio in F2 generation as 3:1. Whereas in dihybrid cross, we see in the F2 generation as phenotypic ratio 9:3:3:1. Whereas if we talk about the genotypic ratio in both of these, then monohybrid cross have 1:2:1 genotypic ratio, whereas the genotypic ratio of dihybrid cross is larger, such as 1:2:1. 2:2, 4:2, 1:2:1. So this is a large one ratio. Now we are going to write the differences between monohybrid and dihybrid over the screen. In the left column, we are going to write about the monohybrid. Both these are the crosses. Dihybrid. So first is, it is a cross. It is a cross between two pure organisms, in order to study, why do we these experiment? To study the inheritance of genes, in order to study the inheritance of alleles for a trait. We want to see how a trait is passing from parent to offspring generation. So monohybrid is a cross concerning with the study of inheritance of only single pair. Inheritance of a single pair of allele. Alright, and if you talk about the dihybrid cross, then it is a cross between two organisms in order to study the inheritance, of course, but of not a single pair but of two different pairs of alleles for a trait. So in order to study the inheritance of two different pair of alleles belonging to different characters, There will be two characters which we are noticing, which are passing from parent generation to next generation or their offsprings into this cross, that means dihybrid cross. That is why the name has given as dihybrid. That means two characters are passing from one generation to next generation. We are noticing the two characters at a time, and in this cross we are just noticing only one single character which are passing from parent to offspring generation. That is why the the cross is being named as monohybrid. That means one character is passing from parent to next generation. So this is a monohybrid cross and this is dihybrid cross. If we talk about the ratios, then phenotypic ratio in F2 generation, in case of monohybrid cross, we have 3:1 ratio. Alright, 3:1 ratio, that means 3 are tall and 1 is dwarf. And in case of dihybrid cross, we have 9:3:1 as phenotypic ratio. Whereas if we talk about the genotypic ratio of these two, then the genotypic ratio in F2 generation, it is having 1:2:1. Alright, and this is having 1:2:1 2:4:2:1:2:1. This is the genotypic ratio in the F2 generation of a dihybrid cross. So this is the basic difference between monohybrid and dihybrid crosses, and this is a complete solution of the part C of question number 2.